Forget all you know about podcasts. We welcome you to an experience uniquely different. Please join us for our coverage of all entertainment on the fringe of society. The candles are lit, the lights are down low. It is now time to welcome our host as he steps up to the pulpit. The sacrifice has been prepared for the midnight Black Mass.
Ghastly greetings, groovy ghoulies, and welcome to episode 18, volume 6 of the Midnight Black Mass. I am your host and the founder of the program, the maniacal minister of the occult, the devil you know, the dragon himself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, alongside my partner in crime, one of the most foul-mouthed men in all of podcasting. As we record this on National Podcast Day, he has came on the scene and breathed an entirely new life into the program here on the Midnight Black Mass with his antics and his hijinks and his wit and his charm, Mr. Andrew Alexander.
Oh, shit, man. I wish I was trying to pick you up. I'd be doing a good job. I'd be fucking you by now.
Hey, I've spent a fucking 15-year career putting other people over, so I know how to fucking do it.
Hide the weaknesses and show the positives.
That's it, baby.
Play to the strengths. Sometimes you gotta talk about their foul mouth. Sometimes you gotta give them a stuffed teddy bear. Whatever works.
Whatever gets the job done, as long as that teddy bear is covered in blood.
Our little program turned 18.
It did. It don't know what it wants.
Breathing new life into the podcast world. Dick to mouth resuscitation. Man, what's going on?
Man, I had a crazy week. About you?
I wish I had a crazy week. It's about the most boring week I've had in a while. What's crazy? What's going on?
No, it's not anything like awesome crazy. Well, there may be a little some interesting shit around the house. At least I'll talk about here in a minute. But you know, it was kind of chill. You know, I took off from wrestling. I was not there at the Empire. I was officially Dennis Stamp for the evening. I was not booked. So,
I tried. Ladies and gentlemen, if you miss seeing him, you know, in the Eagle's Nest or anything, I tried to get into comedy. Said I just can't come. I'm not booked.
I was not booked. So I took the next weekend off and just, you know, had a nice relaxing weekend around the house with the wife and the kid. It was really great. But I fucking, like, Saturday, I woke up and my car battery was fucking dead. And so that was some crazy shit. Like, I didn't know what the fucking problem was because it was, like, halfway working. Trying to find out, it was, like, the battery itself, it was just fucking shot. And I know dick about cars, you know. But, like, I was able to fix it. So I felt like a manly man. I diagnosed and fixed the problem and ended up $100 and some odd bucks less rich. But I have a car that still runs, so I was happy about that.
Man, don't it always? I mean, I know pretty much dick about cars too, which is weird because my father is a pretty good mechanic, very good paint and body man, but a pretty decent mechanic. And I can change a flat tire. That's about it. But don't it make you feel good anytime you do diagnose or fix just even the smallest thing? I mean, I guess just the people like us that aren't quote unquote manly men, anytime we get to play one, it makes us feel good, makes us feel a little manlier. You know, anytime you got a lady or a less manly man that's like, oh, what's wrong with my car? You know, I've had a million car troubles, so sometimes I know what's wrong just because it's happened to me, and I'm like, oh, you need this, this, and this, and they're like, oh, you know what you're talking about. I'm like, I don't tell them, of course, but in my mind, I'm like, shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I don't know shit, okay? I was an inside kid.
Hey, I find that very funny. What is apple butter?
You've never had apple butter?
No, I literally don't know shit from apple butter because I don't know what apple butter is.
You literally don't, because I can't believe being from Dalton, or Chatsworth, where the fuck down there you're from Georgia.
Hey, I'm from Dalton, okay?
Okay, from Dalton, Georgia. I can't believe you've never had this Southern delicacy. This is mind-boggling. It's what I would call a jelly substitute. Like things you would normally eat jelly on, like a peanut butter sandwich or biscuits. Apple butter is a wonderful substitute. It is a pasty dessert treat that's made from apples and cinnamon and butter, I'm assuming. And you fucking spread it on there. It kind of looks like doo-doo, but it tastes fucking great.
Well, I mean, I know to our listeners that hear me speak, they think I'm just a horrible, horrible hick, but I'm not very Southern. I'm not I don't like jelly, any type of jellies or jams or anything like that you just mentioned. I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of anything with the word apple in it other than apples. And candy apple, that gets a pass, but, apple fritter, apple pie, apple cider. Anything with the word apple in it, I do not like. I don't stand for it. I don't tolerate it. So I don't think I'm going to be a fan. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of apple butter. I'm also not a fan of shit, as we've discussed, but that's a whole other story. But now I know shit from apple butter, kind of.
Yeah, now you know. That's what we're going to call this episode, Shit from Apple Butter.
I like it.
Because you finally have found out. So around here, speaking of the South, here's where I also reside, up in across the state line in the hills of Tennessee, here at the compound. Had my first supernatural activity of the Halloween season this week, and that was kind of crazy.
What do you mean? You got ghosts?
As Rocky Erickson said, if you have ghosts, you have everything. But yeah, I don't know. I would not like to rule it out as a possibility. I'm not saying it's definitively supernatural, but I've had just a couple of strange occurrences. Like lots of doors in my house are kind of like seem to be shutting on their own, and that's not like a super frequent occurrence, but it happened like here and there a couple of times over the week, and I was like, oh, that's odd. Maybe it's just a pressure change in the house, but it was just a little strange. You always get that kind of like uneasy feeling, if there's something afoot, and I got that weird like chilled feeling a couple times, and but the thing that really fucked with me is like my fucking television in the living room, the remote, the fucking batteries are dead in the thing, right? So the remote can't be used because the fucking batteries are dead. Matter of fact, I think I stole one of them out of the remote to power one of my kids' toys. So I know for a fact the fucking remote doesn't work. So I'm in my office doing some work the other day, and I'm actually on the phone doing a business call, and the fucking television starts in the living room, which is all the way at the other end of the house, starts steadily going up in volume. And I'm like, man, they must have how sometimes you go out of the room and they jump the commercial volume really loud when something goes to commercial so they get your attention and shit. So I thought that's what it was. I was like, oh, man, there's like a really loud commercial. That's fucking obnoxious as fuck. And so I get done with my business in there, and I go back into the living room, and I go to turn this fucking TV down, and the fucking television by itself turned all the way up to 99.
Oh, shit. So not only do you have a ghost, you have a death ghost.
Yeah, or one that was just really like to fuck with me. Like, my dogs were freaked
yeah.
the fuck out and shit, and it was not, I mean, I would say I would go as far as to say it was not cool, because that would be a declaration of negativity against said supernatural entity, and I'm not opposed to them hanging around if they just fucking don't fuck with me. You know, you can fucking, I don't have to see you, you can fucking hang out right here, but don't fuck with me. That's all I ask. We can share this space just fine.
I mean, they can have a space up in the attic with their little model town and all that stuff. No need to call Beetlejuice. They can share the living space.
They must have gotten me confused. Some have said we sound alike.
Nice fucking model. Here they're making a sequel to that. That'll be worth checking out. I mean, I don't know if that's just rumors or hearsay, but that's what the internet told me.
Oh, dude, I loved the original Beetlejuice. Like, that was a fucking huge movie in my childhood. You know, I'd say, like, subconsciously, never even intentionally, but, you know, the Rev has a lot of Beetlejuice influence in there in terms of, like, some of his movements and mannerisms and shit. Like, yeah, it would be cool. Yeah. What self-respecting virile male wouldn't, though?
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch it. I might watch that movie as soon as we're done recording here. I might do it because I'm caught up on my stories. Maybe we can talk about our stories real quick. We had a couple season premieres, you know, that we talked about last time, but they've actually happened. Gotham and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that may be it, actually. But, Once Upon a Time, well, I watched that show. I don't think you do, but what do you think?
My wife does, and I watched it somewhat, but I'm not like, I just watch it intermittently, so I have no idea what the fuck's going on. But Gotham, episode 2 of Gotham was fucking great, man. Like, they continue to raise the bar. I thought episode 2 was even better than episode 1, which is a hell of a fucking start. Maybe better than any episode in season 1, I thought. And episode 2 was even better, and they just keep fucking ratcheting up the drama and the fucking intensity, and they did the big fucking spoiler alert. I won't like give a total spoiler, but they fucked some shit up and turned the status quo on its head of the show at the very end of the episode.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's giving anything away because I've heard rumors and rumblings that the guy that obviously has very Joker-esque qualities on the show. You know, I've heard rumors that he was supposed to be thrown out there to make people wonder, is this the Joker? But obviously he's not because the Joker's coming later. But now maybe he will be the Joker because they don't know if the show will last as long as they want it to, which I don't understand why that would be an issue. I don't exactly know the ratings. I don't keep up with that stuff. But the show seems to be going very well. But, you know, at first I was like, I don't want that guy to be the Joker because, A, they gave him a name. And, you know, I mean, even I know, not being a huge DC fan, that the Joker shouldn't have a name. And B, it just seemed too early and too rushed. But that kid is awesome, man. There's this part of me that's like, yeah, he's the fucking Joker. I mean, look at him. He's killing it. What do you think?
There's no question after that episode. Like, and that's really the biggest reveal from that whole episode is that the Joker, Jerome, he's going to be the Joker. Right? There's no question now. I don't think anybody's like fucking, I mean, he did everything. He's the Joker. He was the fucking best Joker. He was a better Joker than Heath Ledger. And that's fucking saying something. Heath Ledger won an Academy Award and deserved to, and it was a unique portrayal of the character. But as far as like comic book Joker coming to life on the screen, this kid is him. He is fucking him. He's the Mark Hamill cartoon, like in the flesh, like so fucking good. And I
won't go so far as to say better than Heath Ledger right now, but I agree. It was amazing. It was to the point where I was dead set on, no, that guy's not the Joker. We'll get him a couple seasons down the line. But after this episode, I'm like, fuck, if he's not the Joker, who's going to be?
Yeah, no, that's an absurd statement. And I don't mean like he's a better actor than Heath Ledger by any fucking means, or that he's even
just
a better Joker. That's Joker. Really subjective. But like, as far as doing the comic book Joker version that like you've rarely seen on television, like he did it, and that's fucking a feat.
Yeah. So you think it's him? You think it'll be it'll happen.
Yeah,
because even you know, on the newscast thing, he says his name. So now it's just like the whole world. They'll never be able to spin that to where it's like we don't know who this guy is. You know what I mean? But he is awesome. It's a very tough spot.
I think there's there's room for that, and like plus it's not it's the multiverse. You know, they've already done crazy things that like went totally against what happened in the official canon, but DC operates so heavily on the concept of the multiverse. Nobody really has a problem with that. They've established that there's infinite numbers of Earths happening exactly at the same time with the same people and their own like different counterparts doing different shit. So it's like there's not really you like as long as they hit the main notes, you know, the small details I don't think people are really going to get up in arms about.
Yeah. What about it happening so early? I mean, obviously there's ways. I mean, he can get locked up and things like that and break out later, but you know, it just seems so early for the biggest of Batman villains to be thrown out there. I mean, because technically he's been out there since season 1.
Yeah, and I'm not like super on board with that from a storytelling perspective, but I think the people will want to see them rush some of that shit on the show, and they don't want to drag it out 10 seasons like Smallville did. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, in this era of television, they might not want 10 seasons out of the show. You know, they might want 5, and they might want to end it, and you know, because the network might want to move on to something else. Because that's just the environment that they're in.
Yeah, and my thought is like, you know, all these things, I'd like to see a slower build and things like that, but it goes back to this kid just nailed it and just did such a badass job that it's kind of hard to deny him at this point. You know, maybe they do something where he gets shot and thrown off a cliff or something, and of course he survives, but you don't see him again for 3 seasons or more, and then there's this mystery of that's that Jerome kid. No way, there's no way he survived that fall. You know, I mean, if the Giant can fall off the top of the fucking arena in Detroit, Halloween Havoc style, and come back 30 minutes later for the main event, I mean, who knows what the Joker's capable of? So
there's plenty of stories where he's done that, or fell in a vat of acid. You know. Yeah.
But the kid's awesome. The show's awesome. It's got some steam. Did you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I did not yet. It's on my queue, but I just have been backed up with shit, so I haven't got to it yet.
I watched it today. I won't spoil nothing. There's not much to spoil, but I just still don't know about it, man. This Inhuman thing, I think the episodes last season where they played up the S.H.I.E.L.D. aspect and the split of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we saw in Winter Soldier and played off those movies and stuff was just a lot better than this whole Inhuman angle, which is definitely what they're putting all their eggs into that basket. But we'll see. I mean, I'll still watch it, but it's just not. Gotham just blows it away at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta fucking like they got their hooks in you because you want to know how it ties into the overall Marvel universe. Like, I feel like I can't miss a piece of that. As much as I kind of don't even enjoy watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's kind of a chore sometimes. So, you know, I'm hoping that they do improve in this season. We'll see what happens, but I am going to watch that episode. So we'll see what the fuck is up with that. But on to the Wrestlenews. Anything else?
No, let's talk about wrestling.
Okay, Wrestlenews. Wrestlenews. So, a couple things coming across the pike here. Not a lot, but just things that entertain me, or at least I found interesting. So the first one, not quite so entertaining. A little disturbing if true, and I don't know how true this is. This came across the Twitter wire earlier today, and, you know, as with all wrestling rumors, take it with a giant grain of salt. But allegedly, WWE is signing up these guys that they have to Legends deals, and they're including these clauses in the contract that they own their merchandising rights. However, they do not make shirts for these people and sell them. So that becomes a big issue if a company like, say, Pro Wrestling Tees, who's very popular, makes a lot of T-shirts for most of independent wrestling, and sells them out there. And one Jim the Anvil Neidhart recently got a cease and desist from WWE, allegedly, over selling his own T-shirts through one of their stores. And apparently the issue is they own the merchandising rights to the Anvil, but they don't have any merchandise for sale of him in their store or anywhere else. So he is unable to make a big portion of his living, like all wrestlers at an independent level. You got to sell the merch, especially if you've been on the mainstream level. You know, that's going to get you a good payday. And so, you know, they're really cutting that. They're not making money themselves. They're not helping the talent make money, if this is true. Just really kind of shitty overall and disappointing, honestly, if true. What do you think?
Man, this can't be true. That's fucked up, man. So anybody they have under Legends deals, they don't allow them to make their own merchandise independently. They just put the kibosh on all that. That's what you're saying. The word is.
If this story is to be believed, and you know, it's out there, so
and even
look into it
even
yourself.
Though they're not making merchandise, because I know for a fact I'm a Jim Neidhart fan, and if for no other reason, the fact that he was part of the Hart Foundation teaming with the greatest wrestler ever. But I'm just a fan of his, and I think that he's a guy that gets forgotten and kind of shit on and doesn't get the respect he deserves from the company for his contributions, not only with the Hart Foundation, the tag team, and the 1997 anti-America angle, but, you know, he's got a daughter that's a huge piece of WWE television and Total Divas. I mean, literally there would be no Natalya without Jim Neidhart, and I mean, there's still just, he's totally overlooked. He's not in the Hall of Fame. They don't make merchandise. If he signed a Legend deal, that means he could get, you know, action figures and in video games and all that, and he's never included in that stuff. So why the hell would you stop him or anybody from simply making their own T-shirts independently and trying to make money? That's bullshit.
Yeah, man, that is pretty fucked if that is true. You know, I hate to talk shit about them because, you know, easy to do from down here when they're up there. But, like, man, that is, somebody needs to rethink that. And I think, you know, if the truth comes out that this is real and it gets enough traction on social media, you know, I believe that, you know, they said it themselves. They handed the fucking audience the gun and said, you know, the power is in your hands. So don't be surprised when the power in the people's hands tells them to go fuck themselves over doing that, and they probably will rethink their stance.
And it would be a lot different if they were making merchandise, especially similar designs and things like that. But if you're not making any, for instance, Jim Neidhart merchandise, therefore Jim Neidhart cannot make any merchandise royalties and money from that merchandise. You're just keeping him from making a living. And the sad reality is so many former professional wrestlers that stop competing in the ring or get out of the business, a lot of them don't have the option of, you know, they're not going to just go get a 9-to-5 job a lot of times for various reasons. And, I mean, I know Jim Neidhart's had some issues with drug use and things like that he's fought and kicked and things like that. So it's not like this guy's just going to go out and get a cozy office job. Something as simple as getting some T-shirts made for people to buy, that's a huge portion of his income that he can do. Plus, you know, his body's probably beat up and he's probably just not in the great physical shape. You know, if you're not using these guys on TV even semi-regularly like you do a Ric Flair or a Sting or Shawn Michaels, you know, that's, you know, why would you try to keep them from making a living, especially when they busted their ass for you? So yeah, hopefully this is all internet bullshit and nothing comes of it. Has there been any more claims other than from the Neidhart camp? Or?
That's all I've seen, but I just saw it today. I don't know how fresh it was. I don't know if it is a few days old or whatever, but just the first little bit I saw about it. So you fans, welcome to go do your own research, Google it. Jim Neidhart, WWE merchandise probably will bring up the story since it's recently fairly hot on social media. So check it out, see what you think. If you want to join the discussion, let us know. Hit us up, AskAndyMBM@hotmail.com, or you can hit me up, DragonsRejects at gmail.com, or on Twitter at DragonsRejects, Andrew Alexander on Facebook. Let us know what you think. So there was that. And then there's other, it's funny, but it's not. Like, obvious.
Let me add real quick to that discussion, Hart Foundation for the Hall of Fame 2016. All five. It's a great idea. You got three members that can't be there. 3 members that can't be there. You got 2, pretty decent talkers, and Brett. Jim Neidhart's a great talker. They could do the receiving of the award for the and for the other 3 guys. Pillman, Davey Boy, and Owen, that all deserve to be in. So let's get that started. Let's make it an online thing, people. If you're listening, Hall of Fame 2016 Hart Foundation. Now, what were you going to say?
Oh, just the other little news item was that apparently the poor divas have been dealing with their fair bit of harassment online lately. Of course, not funny. It's never funny, but just the level some people will fucking go and the things they will say to people they don't fucking know really blows my mind. Like the balls that the internet can put on people, and I do find that hilariously absurd.
What happened? I think I heard about this. Somebody posted a picture.
You sound a little muffled. Speak up, by the way.
I'm sorry. Renee Young, she posted a picture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, that was the first one, and I just saw like the brief headline of that, and was like, oh Lord, here we go. We're on fucking Twitter, and you got creeps. No surprise. But then like other divas started tweeting like their experiences. But the one that stuck out to me was Paige tweeted that some dude asked, as she would say in her British tone, to drink my dribble. Some guy asked to drink her piss on Twitter. Some random fuck. So I do really feel for those girls in that respect. Like, can you imagine the creepy motherfuckers that they get, like fucking following them around to shows and fucking like sending them gifts and shit. Like, I can imagine that it's probably quite fucking a bit to deal with.
Oh man, I completely forgot I wanted to bring this up, and you just reminded me. I really can't imagine just being in the public eye and just, because you're loved by people and you have fans, and that's probably just so freaking great and amazing. But then you have the flip side of that coin, people wanting to drink your piss and saying ridiculous things that 99% of them would never say to your face. But they're behind a keyboard and they can do what they want. But I had an incident last week, completely forgot about till just now, but if fans of the show may remember the human toilet that I almost pissed on, haven't spoke to her in a while, she sends me a random picture. Do you know what the picture is, my friend? While I'm at the park playing with one of my nieces, it's a picture of me at the park with my niece.
Holy fuck!
Some girl I didn't even know was there. I didn't know she was there. I didn't see her. I don't know the person, nothing. But she knew her, and I guess apparently had been told about me because the legend grows. So she sends her this creepy picture of me, total paparazzi style, like stalker. I don't even know it's taken, and sends it to her, and she forwards it to me. This is the first thing anything like this. This is the first time anything has ever happened to me like this, and I got to tell you, it gives me a whole new respect because I was so creeped out. I was so uncomfortable and weirded out, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with people? What is wrong with your friend? I'm with my niece was in the picture. Like, I don't have children, but I just understand now. It makes it so different. Like, I was so just like pissed off and just like uncomfortable. Like, what the fuck?
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like, and I'm not a public figure. I'm not in the public eye like a Paige or a Renee Young or any of those divas. So yes, I can't imagine the shit that they deal with, and the paparazzi and people that are spying on these celebrities and shit. Like, I feel for them so much more than I ever have, just because it made me feel so uncomfortable. And I'm not uptight about shit, and like I don't care about a lot of stuff, but that just, oh my God, it freaked me out, man.
That's some stalker level shit. Like, I haven't had too many instances like that. Like, there was a one or two, like, in a 15-year career is not bad. Usually having to do with women that I may or may not have engaged in relations with, and then ditched. Not cool, but
but when they did these things, did it involve your daughter? Like, imagine.
Oh no, fuck no, dude. You talk about fucking bringing out the Reverend. It's funny because you don't go by the Reverend and everything, but like people on the podcast, they get more Dan. They get the Dragon, which is closer to the real. The Reverend's like me when I'm pissed, and the Dragon's like me when I'm chill, and like but they're both me, and so that would bring the fucking Reverend out, and like you don't want that to happen. Like, even though I'm not physically capable of doing anything, I will cause a fucking scene like no other, and scare the ever loving shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot about that. So you just reminded me with that situation. So, yeah, I feel bad for those, anybody, but those girls that, they're posting stuff and they're trying to let people into their personal lives just because that's the way the world is now. Everybody knows everything about everyone, and they're trying to connect with their fans, and that's great, and you can't fault them for that in the slightest. But then you have these idiots and creeps and people that just take shit too far, and oh man, like I can't imagine. I feel bad for them for sure. Guys too. We've heard lots of stories with social media about some of the guys in the business. I know Seth Rollins had some issues and people posting shit, and man, Hulk Hogan's talking and they're secretly recording his conversations, and just shit, man, shit's fucked up now.
Like, the wrestling business and the era of social media are not compatible bedfellows.
And no, they're not.
Like, people just think shit's not going to fucking get out, and it's going to get out, like always, almost. So it's a fucking interesting time for our outlaw carny business.
Yeah, it certainly is.
But yeah, you do feel for those chicks, and like, and then the dudes, like you said, it's like just having that level of fame, and brings out the weirdest fucking people, and in an era where people go shoot up movie theaters and shit, it's a little unnerving.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, we'll wrap up the rest.
On that.
Yeah, we really should have, right? We can segue into the haters.
Oh man, why do you hate everything new? Partly because I don't understand it, and partly because fuck you. It's time for Old Man Haters.
What's wrong with you?
It's either this show or indigestion. I hope it's indigestion.
Why?
It'll get better in a little while.
All right, it's time for Old Man Haters. and we're going to bitch. The triumphant return of Old Man Haters, where we hike up our pants and get a little surly and crotchety about stuff. My rant on this, first of all, do you have any rant you want to go on before I begin?
I think my rant was just covered. I have something I can bring up, but we'll bring it up at the end of the segment. I want to just get your thoughts on it real quick. Not really bitch about, just something I was curious about. But what do you got? What do you want to bitch about?
I am tired of hearing about the fucking Pope. Like, it's great if you're Catholic. Like, the Pope is a big fucking deal. But if you ain't Catholic, it's like no different than the Queen of England or some other respected international figure coming over. It's cool. But, like, the way people are going all the fucking news every 5 minutes, like, oh, the Pope had a fucking sandwich. The Pope fucking kissed a baby. The fucking somebody cosplayed as the fucking Pope. Well, you don't give a fuck. Like, fuck the Pope, you know?
I was about to say, do you just want to go on record and say fuck the Pope? Can we quote you on saying fuck the Pope?
You can quote me on saying fuck the Pope. Just even this Pope is kind of cool, you know? He seems to be a little more, like, laid back and more with the modern times, but I'm just fucking tired of hearing about it. I'm sure he's a great dude. I'm sure he's doing great works. But I don't fucking care. And then, like, I thought this fucking cow-headed cunt, fucking Kim Davis, his fucking time in the sun was over. You know, I thought, okay, well, she got her 15 minutes, and now it's, we can move on with our lives. No, he has to fucking go have a secret meeting with her and fucking, like, make her feel like she's important. So, I was all right with the Pope until that. That's really what drew the line of it. We say, man, fuck the Pope.
I purposely avoid lots of shit. What did she do? Like, I've noticed she's done something.
Yeah, this is a hot button issue, and I hope to not. I will try to state this in a way that does not piss off a bunch of my friends, because it's not what I'm intending to do here. But okay, so Kim Davis is the lady from Kentucky who works in the county clerk's office who disagrees with gay marriage, and since it was passed on a federal level, she refuses to hand out marriage certificates. So they fucking put her in jail because she wouldn't do her fucking job, and she's an elected official, and so they can't fire her because she's elected. And so the only thing they could do to try to make her enforce it was to put her in jail. When she got out of jail, she still was fucking fighting it and trying not to have to do it. And it's like, what kind of precedent do you set with that shit? I don't care. Like, I respect that if you don't think gay marriage is right, it's a part of your religion, then that's cool, but fucking, if a Muslim guy works at the fucking Burger King and says, you know what, I don't believe in eating pork, and it says you how much I know about fucking Islam, because I don't know if that's even a thing. But just as an example, say,
I think beef.
Okay, well, say I don't eat beef, so fuck you. You're not getting a Whopper. You're getting a chicken sandwich. That's not gonna fly. They're gonna fire the motherfucker, right? I mean, so just people are just tired of this lady, and then she's got a bunch of people all up in arms about them trying to persecute her for religion, and I just don't see that. I don't if she owns a business, and that's one thing, but she's like an elected official. She's paid to do a job. She doesn't do the job. Find somebody else to do the job would be my response, but whatever. I'm just also tired of hearing something.
She can't be impeached or something? I
think there's probably some sort of...
This one guy was running the country, like, pretty decently, and he got a blowjob. They tried to impeach him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that there's something on that level that they could do. I don't know. I mean, it's a fucking county clerk in a fucking small town. Like, it's a fucking inconsequential position. It's somebody that signs papers. And
here's what you got to give her, though. I mean, I agree she's an elected official, and if this is something that's passed nationwide, that is just going to happen. That's just all there is to it. But the bitch is sticking to her guns. She's standing up for what she's believing in. She's putting her foot down. I mean, there's a lot of people that if this was kind of opposite, if gay marriage wasn't legal and she was like, come on, gays, get married. Here's your certificates. Take them. They would call her a hero. Am I right?
I mean, maybe. But in this case, like, I just don't see that there's any argument. It's like, it doesn't matter if she disagrees with it. It's her job. Like, there's a lot of shit I disagree with at my job. I'm sure you do too. But fucking, you can't just refuse to do it. Like,
she needs to be fired or taken care of, or something needs to happen there because it is her job and it is, a law. So she's breaking the law by not doing it. But there is that thing that, I mean, I just know if it was reversed, that people would be putting her on a pedestal saying this woman believes in gay marriage. She's standing up for what she believes in. Yay, yay, yay. And it's just kind of a case where it's the opposite. So she's being booed by, but I'm sure there's people who agree with her that are worshiping her and just saying, yeah, you tell them.
She's got
good job.
Her supporters. She's raised like fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars on fucking GoFundMe.
What?
Yeah. So,
Dude, I need to start. Dude, Mid-Mount Black Mass needs a GoFundMe, and we'll just jump around every week. We support gay marriage. We hate gay marriage. We support the blacks and the Jews. We hate the blacks and the Jews. We could rack up a fuck ton of money.
Maybe you're on to something. But anyway, so all the...
We'll take our black friends and our Jew friends out for dinner with the money we get by booing them. I don't have any Jew friends, but if I did, no, I wouldn't pick up the check.
Yeah, you probably do, and you probably just don't fucking know it.
If I took them out to dinner, though, I'd make them pay because it seems stereotypical for me to assume they want me to pay because they're cheap,
I think some might assume you as a member of the Holy Tribe if they didn't know any better.
I'm careful with money. I spend, baby.
You have many George Costanza-like qualities, not in physical appearance and personality.
I have been called a skinny George Costanza with hair, which if I keep going at this rate, I'm not going to be skinny, and I might not have too much hair. We'll have to see.
But anyway, so, like, I was just tired of her 15 minutes of fame, and then the Pope had to fucking, like, bring her back into the spotlight because he acted like she was fucking super important. And it's like, whatever, cool, but, man, I'm so tired of hearing about it.
So we're saying fuck the Pope, fuck Kentucky, fuck elected officials, and fuck, what's her name?
Kim Davis.
Fuck Kim Davis. That's what we're saying. And the Catholics.
Yeah. That's you're fucking trying to fucking spin me here.
Yeah, because when you agree with me, I'm gonna come out and say it was all Dan Wilson. He was the leader of the podcast. Give me your money.
Oh, I know you are.
I'm here to get fucking paid.
So, yeah, in short, I'm just fucking tired of hearing about it. But it does recall a really hilarious memory that I have of seeing Behemoth, who is this amazing fucking death metal band from Sweden that you just have to see to believe. They wear the fucking corpse paint on stage and shit. And like there's a bunch of religious protesters outside when we were waiting in line to go see them. And Pope John Paul II had just died. And so, in true Behemoth fashion, the front man, Nergal, he pulls out a Bible and he rips it in half. And he says, "This one's for the Pope."
Oh, shit.
And so we'll close out Old Man Haters with "This one's for the Pope."
Oh man, we're going to hell.
Already there.
You know what's going to be sad is I'm going to be up there, and Peter, Paul, and Mary's going to have the book, and they're going to check the list and check it twice and see if you've been naughty or nice and that stuff. And they're going to be like, we're going to let you in. But we look back and you did this podcast thing for a minute, and we just can't forgive that. You're going to have to go to hell.
And I'll be like, come on in. I'm a slumlord.
I've been waiting for you.
So, got their bitching out of the way. The hating's done. Now it's time to hear about some loving.
Oh, yeah.
In a world filled with sluts, whores, and women who make questionable choices, one man sets out to fuck them all. Will our hero fuck or fail?
That's right, folks. It's time for Tales of the Single Man, Fuck or Fail, where our resident love guru, the man whose the streak has continued for many, many weeks in a row, Mr. Andrew Alexander. Are we still Goldberging it? Or has Kevin Nash come with Scott Hall and the cattle prod?
Oh, there's a cattle prod involved, but the streak is alive.
Oh, well.
The only thing that could stop me at this point is fucking Brock Lesnar and a bad booking decision. So
tell us.
I'm in a public place, an office setting, if you will, a place where there's the usual. There's desk and computers and people working and things such as this. When a young lady who I don't know very well, usually just from frequently going to the office setting, maybe, every couple of weeks or so, I have to go into this office for certain things that you would have to do as an adult. I don't want to get anyone in trouble or give away any locations, but you can imagine what type of place I'm visiting. And one day I go in and the girl's she's kind of flirting, but I just chalk it up to you're working and I'm visiting your place of work, conducting business, so you're being friendly. Well, this past week I go in and there's a delay, so we're chatting it up a little bit, and she says something. I can't even remember. It happened so quickly. It just happened so fast, Dan, that it tweaked my interest. Like, wait a minute, what's going on right here? And
women know what they're doing when they do that shit, by the way. There's them throwing them Scooby-Doo clues down.
Oh, fuck yeah. And she wasn't going to get away with it. I don't care if Mr. Weatherby was helping her or not. I mean, I was picking it up. And I'm like, wait a minute. In my mind, I'm connecting dots, and I say, are you saying what I think you just said? And because it was very, very discreet, very just subtle. And she goes, oh, you wouldn't be interested in anything like that. And I said, no, of course not. I'm just here conducting business. And she says, well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you with business too much longer. I take my break in 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, so how long's your break? And she says, well, it's only 15 minutes. I say, yeah, that's not enough time to really do anything of any value. And she says, yeah, but it would be enough time to maybe give a taste. And she smiled, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Did my life just turn into a porno?
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, so I got to go, but I don't have anywhere to go, so I can hang around and wait for you to take your break. And she goes, okay, yes, it'll be just like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, yeah, fine, no big deal. So I got to my car. I sit there, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's about to happen, but there's no way this is actually happening to me. Like, what the fuck? And, I mean, this isn't some fucking chud beast whore. Like, this is a good-looking chick. Like, she's not a 10 by any means, but, I mean, she could be like a Saudi Daisy 10, or a Chatsworth 10, or maybe a Fort Oglethorpe 10, definitely a Rossville 10, if you know those surrounding areas. Like, she was a good-looking chick. So she comes out, I see her coming towards my car, and I'm waiting for the candid camera people to pop out and be like, you just got punked, bitch, you pervert. We know you got a filthy little podcast. We know what you're up to. But she gets in my car. I can't make this shit up. She shuts the door, and I'm like, so what's going on? She leans over. She kisses me just enough to let me know that you're not dreaming. This is real. And then she instantly just pulls away and says, unzip. And I'm like, what? Dude, I swear. She goes, unzip. And I'm a gentleman. When a lady needs my help and needs me to assist her any way I can, I've got to be there for that person. I'm a people pleaser. You know that. You know that I'm not one to stir up controversy and cause a ruckus. I want to give everyone whatever they need to be happy. That's me in a nutshell. So I unzip my pants. Next thing I know, she is treating my dick like it's, I won't say the Last Supper, but definitely something similar to the Last Supper. Just a huge buffet. And I'm loving it. I'm like, holy shit. She's making this thing. She's Houdini in my dick. It's vanishing. It's disappearing. I'm like, where could such a thing go? How big is a throat? I don't know. I didn't study that shit in school. So, this goes on just long enough to where she stops and she says, I can't be late. I can't be late going back to work. We need to finish this when I get off. And I say, yes, we do. And she says, well, here's my number. Text me. We'll work it out. She gets out of my car. She disappears. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I'm doing afternoon fucking chores, running my errands, and this just fucking happened. And it happened beautifully. Like, it was amazing. So I send her the texty text, as I'm prone to do, and she lays it out for me, and the rest of it, it's not so easy. See, she lives a little bit off the beaten path, out of my way, which I'm not opposed to. If a chick is going to be good enough to put my dick in her mouth, like all inside of her mouth and her esophagus, I can make the drive. But the problem is she doesn't live alone. She has certain obligations that would require her to not be away from her home for a long time, which means I can't bring her back to my place. AKA, I'm going to have to fuck this chick in my car. Now, a 17-year-old Andrew Alexander, he'll fuck in his car. No problem. All day long car fucking. But 31-year-old Andrew Alexander, it seems so odd. What the fuck am I paying a mortgage for if I can't fuck in the peace and quiet and sanctity of my own home? But sometimes I give all of myself to our listeners. I don't do this for me. I get no pleasure from these things. But I have a podcast that people expect a certain amount of quality from. So I get in my car and I go to this lady. And I meet her at a public place where people may go to buy anything from groceries to DVDs to camping supplies and toothpaste. Somewhere you can really save a lot of money if you wanted to. And I mean,
so were they like to roll back their prices by chance?
They've been known to roll back prices. Yes, they will do that from time to time. A place very similar to a place like that. So I meet her there, and she goes. So she jumps in the car. She goes, "Where are we going?" I said, "I don't know. Let's go to my place." She goes, "I can't. Too far away," which we've already discussed that. I knew that, but I was just trying to. I don't want to fuck in my car, but I will. So she's wearing these little short shorts, like something a chick would sleep in, but we're semi in public here. It was so beautiful, I swear. She spreads her legs in my passenger seat. She grabs my hand and sticks it between her legs. And I don't know what this bitch was doing before she got to me, and I'm a good-looking dude. I may have peaked at 25, but I'm still a good-looking son of a bitch. But I'm not good-looking enough for this bitch to jump in my car and be soaked like fucking Niagara Falls instantly. But she was. She was. And I'm like, oh, fuck. She says, we got to go somewhere. Just start driving. And I start driving. She goes, wait, go behind this building. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the best place, but you're not thinking straight when you're knuckle deep in just beautiful, beautiful, sloppy, wet, tight puss. Or puss.
Oh, no. When the scent of a woman is on you and you're thinking with your other brain, you don't think rationally.
Oh, man. Oh, God, I was losing my mind at this point. So I go behind this building. She starts sucking my dick again. Again, I don't know what my dick tastes like. But at this point, I'm curious because she treated this shit like it was fucking delicious. I mean, she was... My dick was planet Earth, and this bitch was Galactus. And I'm loving it. So she's going, and I look up, and I notice that the huge 18-wheeler that carries merchandise that you can get at affordable prices is not empty. It has a truck driver inside of it.
Oh.
And I can only imagine that this truck driver has to at least have a clue what's going on and is probably getting off on it. So I was
about to say, he was probably fucking rubbing one out.
Well, he might as well join the gang because I was working on one, and I could have been charging admission because I was like, that guy has to see us. And she's like, oh, shit. I said, well, just don't raise up because I'm a gentleman. I can't be just flaunting this woman. I tell her to stay down. I was like, okay, don't worry, I got it. So I start driving. All in mind, I have a vehicle that I'm quite fond of at this point in my life. And in the back of my mind, there's definitely a thought of that bitch is getting that seat dirty over there, and I hope that shit cleans up because I'm a mature, responsible adult. Yes, that thought legitimately went through my mind. Priorities, people. So I start driving. And I know the town decently enough to where I just end up, no shit, in a driveway. I mean, on the side of a driveway, and if you keep going straight, there's a house at the driveway. At this point, it's dark. It's not a busy neighborhood or anything, but it's definitely, if people decide to come home, they're going to drive past me in the driveway, and I'm going to be fucking, which I did. So we're in the back seat, and I'm fucking, and it's going fine, but as fine as you could really expect in the back seat of a car that's not a huge car by any means. I'm going to town. And when she looks back at me over her shoulder and she whispers something that just really tugs on my heart. As a man, as a human, as someone who just wants to be held and wants to be loved. She says, put it in my ass. And I say, for real? And she says, yes. So, in the middle of the driveway, and keep in mind, yes, I'm thinking, I hope nothing goes awry here because we're in my car, and I'm quite fond of my car. I don't want it getting filthy. So I put it in this chick's ass, and it's not going extremely well because as we've mentioned and as we've covered, that's not the easiest thing for me to pull off at all times, especially without a lot of proper preparation and lubrication and things such as that. So I'm going to it. It's okay when, yes, you guessed it, whoever was home or was not home decided to come home because all I see coming towards me are headlights. And I'm thinking, please don't be the police because I'm way too fucking old to be going to jail for some indecent exposure. Yeah. Call my fucking mom to bail me out of jail or something. Yes, ma'am, we found him balls deep in some whore's ass. That's a story I just can't explain to people in my life. Luckily for me, it was not the cops. It was indeed whoever lived there, and they just drove past. Literally like this happens to them all the time. Like, Mom, there's people fucking in our driveway again. Oh, that's okay. So, and the windows are all fogged up and shit. Like, they can't be stupid. And it's a decent enough car. They're not like, oh, that car's broke down. No, they're people fucking in the driveway. So we start laughing. We're having a good time. She's like, holy shit. She's like, what time is it? We got to go. I was like, okay. So without finishing, unfortunately, I take her back to her vehicle and she returns to her adultly duties that she has to tend to. But I just feel that I just can't chalk this up as a failure because it was such a great time. It was such a great time. I mean, if you go to a sporting event and you decide to leave before it's over, you don't get to see the winner, you could still have a great time. And that's what I did. I had a wonderful time. I'm definitely looking forward to anything similar to this situation happening again with this lady. And I've got to chalk this up in the fuck column. I can't say this is a fail. What do you think?
Dude, you fucked in more than one orifice. You just didn't fucking... you just didn't climax. So, hey, save it for a different time. It'll probably even be better. So
save it for a rainy
well, there
day,
you
man.
go.
And all orifices, I was waiting for this bitch to pull out a nose piercing and say, ram it in the nostril, because she was just open to all of it and just loving it. And it was just so wonderful, the whole setup. It just made me feel alive. That's
all you can ask. That's
exactly. It was a wonderful time. It was definitely the highlight of my week, and sharing it with you and our great listeners. I'm glad that they're tuning in to hear these stories, because this stuff isn't going to happen to just everybody.
Oh no, not at all. Only to the man who tells it like it is and gets the tales of the single man here on Fuck or Fail on the Midnight Black Mass. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to wrap it up with some more advice from our love guru here on Dear Andy. But wait, hang on just a second. What the hell is this? We have a caller. Just see what the fuck this is about. It's 706 area code. You were on the Midnight Black Mass.
All right. Hey, how's it going, guys? I got cut off last week.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's right. You know exactly who it is. Hey, look, I was promised this airspace, Andy. You know I was. And you decided to invoke your co-host clause and hang up on me. Look, I won promo or porno. I'm the new champion. I knocked off the Fat Cox. It's over. The Fat Cox is toppled. He's done with. It's gone. I'm the new promo or porno champion. I deserve this airtime. You told me, you promised that I had this airtime, Andy. And by God, I'm going to use it. I want to talk about the Lazarus system.
If people don't know, and since you're a rude dumbass and don't want to introduce yourself, everyone, this is clearly Lionel Lucas Lazarus.
That's right.
He did indeed. He won Promo or Porno, our second winner ever on last week's show. He toppled the big Cox, as I'm sure he's so proud of. He could even
Very.
handle a big Cox the way he did.
You know it.
I do know it. So what are you doing back?
What am I doing back? I want to defend my championship. That's what I mean, I don't know what you guys talk about. Every time it seems I listen or call into this show, all you're talking about is you porking some fatty or porno or good God, you people don't have anything else to talk about that's not sleazy and gross. Anyway, I want to defend my championship, okay? I've been studying hard. I've been hitting all the porno racks at all the DVD stores. The Granny V Takes a Sack, Snow White and the Seven Loads, America the Bootyful, Toy Story 2. I've seen them all, and I'm ready to defend my promo or porno championship tonight, Andy.
Two things. Number one, we were talking about the Pope and gay marriage. We touch on some real heavy issues here, so don't make it sound like we're a couple of foul-mouthed chuckleheads.
Well, it sounds like the heaviest issue in this whole thing is your penis.
Well, I don't deny that. But
of course you don't.
That's not how promo or porno works. See, you don't defend the championship.
But this is wrestling. This is the wrestling business. Don't you defend championships unless you're, the booker and make yourself the champion? I don't care. I want to defend my championship, baby.
Man, can we change the number? I mean, I know we've given it out, but
you ain't changing the number on me. I'll keep calling into this show every week. All right, now look, where's Corey Cox anyway? He's the other champion. All right, now I know he's got nothing going on. Where's he at? Where's he on the foot? I want to go one-on-one with the big Cox.
Okay, Dan, what do you think? Look, we got the big 20th episode coming up. Is there any way we could put something together? Maybe we can reach out and get Corey Cox on the line and have these two battle and see who the champion of the first 20 episodes is, because we've only had two winners.
The undisputed
it'll be a rock hard throbbing good time if you make that happen.
The undisputed promo or porno championship. Yes, exactly.
I think we can make that happen.
Well, okay. So, Lionel Lucas Lazarus, if we, this
my
is
friends you're missing my whole name. My friends call me Lucas. You can call me Lionel. Call me Lionel. Andy.
Do not go into the tale of why they call you Lucas. We don't have enough time on this podcast.
It's a great story.
So how about this? How about we reach out, and in 2 weeks, on the 20th episode, if we can get Corey Cox to come on, we'll have you two battle each other. 3 clips, the same 3 clips. Whoever gets the most is the undisputed promo or porno champion. Will that work for you? And if you
that
win,
sounds like a plan, Andy, but that's not the only reason why I'm here. Not the only reason why I've called in. Look, you said it last week, or Dan did. I was guaranteed this airspace, and I'm going to use it. Now, last week, you saw at Empire. Team IOU joined Lazarus. They joined me. These two guys aren't any slouches either. They're going to take it to the fatties, Andy. And if you don't think they're going to take over and be the future, you're wrong. They've been everywhere. They have been all over. You know what? Actually, let's take this a little bit further. Let's take this just a little bit more further. Not only do I want to defend my promo or porno championship against Corey Cox, why don't we do a little something at Empire? Why don't we have a little bit of a tag team match? That fatty that Corey's been tagging with, Mr. Sports Entertainment, let's put them 2-on-2, mano-on-mano, I don't even know how you say it, against Team IOU represented by me. What do you say?
I'll tell you right now, if I agree to make that
Tell me right now.
If I agree to make that match, for this week, by the time this airs, it could have already happened. Will you just hang up? Will you hang up if I say yes?
I will never hang up. I want to defend the Promo or Porno Championship. I want this tag match. Lazarus is going to take over. Andy, this is going to be the hottest.
Thank you. Was that Dan? Did you do that?
No, I technical difficulties, man. Technical difficulties. I don't know what happened.
Well, Well, thank God for technical difficulties. I never thought I'd be. My Lord, I'm going to consider that match because he's got me. That's a good idea to me. A little promo or porno championship, and then his men, Team IOU versus one of the champions, Corey Cox, and his partner, Mr. Sports Entertainment, in a tag match. That sounds like a great idea. That guy never, man. He needs his own podcast.
Yeah, he really does, because he doesn't have an off switch, for one. And I think he could irritate the tits off of said useless warhog. Fuck.
I bet the Pope just heard that spiel and is rethinking his whole decision and his thoughts of God and everything.
Yeah.
Before
we got to have him back on in 2 weeks.
We got to have a time limit, or we got to give these guys a time limit or something for the clips, because this guy's so long-winded. And God, if he would, I know Corey Cox, and I know that man studies nothing all day, every day, except for pro wrestling, pornography, and pizza. So I hope he comes prepared if we can get him on the line. We haven't confirmed that with him yet, but I hope he's ready.
The 3
I need him
Ps.
to win. The 3 Ps. And, I mean, if you want to throw in that fourth, I'm sure he's a big fan of pussy, too. So pizza, pussy, pro wrestling, and porno. That's what life's all about, I think.
Very well could be. Very well. Fuck. I can't believe Lionel Lucas Lazarus is coming back on the show in 2 weeks.
And we're going to have, after that point, we may have to look into changing the number. You know, we don't give it out to just anyone, but this guy's got it now, and what a headache. You know, I had something before we wrapped up, before we got all distracted. You know, you asked me earlier if I had anything that I wanted to bitch about. And this isn't something really to bitch about. It's just something I wanted to throw at you and get your feelings on and get your thoughts about. But And, you know, this isn't something that got me hot and bothered and made me upset, but someone, a mutual friend of ours, no need in saying his name, you'll know who it is, and people that know us and know the situation will know who it is, and the listeners won't, but I promise you the name doesn't matter. It's not a name you'll know. But I received a text message after listening to the last Fucker Fail Tale, basically saying, it's a long story, hoping that I made good, wise decisions and that I was going down a bad path with drunk chicks bringing me over to people's homes and fucking with their kids in the house and everything, which he may have failed to mention that I didn't fuck with those kids there. Like, I avoided those situations, you know. I mean, I still fucked, but I got out of the house. Like, I didn't do it with these random children around. I'm not a total scumbag, but he said something that really stuck to me. And Dan, this is pretty much our only mutual friend who could be seen as a man of God, a man of the cloth. So I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But he kind of said something to me that it really got me thinking. And like I said, it didn't upset me because I don't care about being judged, or very few people's opinions about very few subjects really matter to me. But he kind of said something like, you know, Andy, a lot of people in the wrestling business, whether you want to admit it or not, would like to look up to you and learn from your example. So I hope that you would set a good example for them. And my response was, if the worst thing I do is serial fornicate, and it is the worst thing I do, I think that's not a horrible example to set for people in the wrestling business, because there's tons of people in the wrestling business that, anyway you break it down, they're scumbags. Like, there's liars and just deceitful people that you cannot trust, people that lie to you constantly, that never shoot straight with you, that would steal money from you any given opportunity. Like, that's the majority of the people in the wrestling business, at least that I've come across. So I was just wondering, Dan, what your thoughts were on what kind of example do you think you and I set for younger guys in the business? Like, I honestly think, and maybe this is sometimes the sign of a true villain, but I think me and you are kind of some of the good guys, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the only guys I know in the wrestling business that planned on having a child and had it on purpose and was already married when I did it, and am not religious in the fucking least. And also, like, like, whatever anybody does in their personal life is really their fucking business. And, you know, what we talk about on the show, like, there's a lot of truth to it, you know, like 90% of it is true. But, you know, we're also entertainers and performers, and this is fucking entertainment. And so, you know, there might be things that are embellished from time to time or that are expounded upon or exaggerated to make for the sake of a good story. And I think, you know, anybody that understands this medium understands that. And, you know, as far as, like, I think you can only be judged unless you're just doing really fucking shitty things to people outside of the business, which, you know, neither of us do. We're considered pretty good dudes by most people, despite our lack of religious convictions. And I don't know, I speak, not necessarily speaking for you there, but you can really only be judged on how you treat other people in the business and the kind of example you set in how you do business and handle business. And, you know, we've always had jobs and bookings, so, you know, I ain't gonna lose no fucking sleep over it. I don't know who the fuck you're even talking about. I didn't get any of the hints that you dropped, so, you know, I hope to not offend him or anything, but, you know, like, if it's a good dear friend of ours, like, I don't want to fucking shit in her mouth or anything, but, you know, like, I just don't think that has anything to do with it.
I wouldn't say good dear friend. I mean, I don't think that I wouldn't consider that I have too many good dear friends in the wrestling business, which is another sign of
the wrestling business isn't full of just great people, like, constantly, that are always around. And let me just go back to what Dan just said about, you know, some of the stories being 90% true. My fucker failed 100% true, people. I would never steer you wrong. You're my favorite turds. I wouldn't shit any of you. But, I mean, it just got me thinking about stuff in general. Like, the wrestling business, like how we're, you know, the example that we set for younger guys, because I'm not going to sit here and name things that I've done to help, that I've done to try to better the pro wrestling business, especially in the area that we live in. But I fucking could, and it's a pretty decent list of things and people that I've tried to help. But I mean, just what do you think the perception is of the younger talent and maybe some of the older talent of guys like me and you who, you know, still contribute a small amount to the wrestling business, but try really hard to help guys grow and better themselves. And, you know, I've got a reputation for being mean and some shit like that, and I'll say stuff to you, but is that not better than someone who lies to you and blows smoke up your ass? Like, I don't see that we're the villains in the story.
No. No. I don't think so either. I mean, you know, like, I want to have the respect of my peers, and I think I do, but, you know, if I don't, then fucking don't listen to me. Don't fucking let me put you over. Don't let me fucking, you know, don't ask me for advice. But most of them do. And so I'm going to give it to them, you know, if they ask. And if they don't, then I ain't going to waste my fucking time. That's usually the way it goes. You know, there was a time where I, like, tried to help as many people as I could see. Then you see guys just don't fucking want the help a lot of times. And, like, because the wrestlers of today are so debaucherous, we would lead them such down a fucking terrible path. That day is gone, Pally. That day is long gone in the business. You know, fucking Cornette this week on his podcast was talking about why there's no women at wrestling events anymore. There's an interesting theory, and it actually flies directly in the face of the kayfabe the cock theory that is often expressed to young guys now, which is, just very briefly, don't go try to fuck the rats because you fucking are a turd and you're not going to be able to satisfy them. So they're going to fucking get pissed off and leave and go to everybody and get a fucking small wiener. So that's the kayfabe the cock theory, is if you give them the cock, then they got no reason to spend money on you. But Cornette's theory was, he said women used to love to come to wrestling in the 80s because they would go to the events and the men would fuck the shit out of them and the wrestlers. And so they would go tell their girlfriends, hey, I got this guy fucking, whoa, and so they would, the word would get around and the women would go to the shows and flock in, all with the hopes of trying to get with one of the wrestlers. Word of mouth got around. None of that happens anymore, and trust me, it's just not like they need our bad example, like I said, of me being fucking married and planning to have a child and having a child, all going according to plan. Then half of these motherfuckers who are 22 years old and got 6 fucking kids by 6 different fucking mamas already, don't tell me I'm a fucking bad example.
They don't pay for none of them. And I'm spinning this off. This is all spinning off of my internal debate, because I don't think that this person was implying that we are the bad guys of the wrestling business, or me specifically, or anything like that. It was just a phrase that some people may look up to you, and I hope you're setting a right example. And I just go back to, if the worst thing you're doing is fucking chicks that ask you to fuck them, I don't know that that's the worst path you could be taking. And not that there's anything wrong with some of the stuff I'm about to say, but, I've never had a drop of alcohol. I've never done a drug. That wasn't prescribed for medical reasons. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never murdered anyone. I don't go around starting fights. I don't hit on underage girls or send pictures of my dick to underage girls. There's just so many things that people could do that could be seen as a bad path, that most of that stuff applies to you as well, except maybe the drinking but that doesn't make anyone a bad person. Just because I haven't done it doesn't mean I care that people do it. I just don't. And it just got me curious. I wonder what people, when they hear our names, what they think, if they don't know us, or what the perception of us. Because I'm sure we're evil. I'm sure we're the worst guys. They didn't want to book me, and they said I sucked. They said I needed gear. They said this. You know what I mean?
It's often the perception, but in my case, I've gone on fucking live television and drank someone else's blood, and I fucking, came out with satanic imagery and fucking sacrificed people in the middle of the ring. So, I pretty much knew when I crossed those lines that all bets were off, and, I didn't really expect anybody was looking to me to be some sort of role model, but that's just me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not looking to be either. And like you said, I strongly want the respect of my peers. And I bet if there's 100 guys that I've met in the wrestling business whose opinion truly matters to me, I bet I can tell you 95 of them I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, respect me. So, if there's, and I want the younger guys to too, and there's a fucking ton of younger guys that I've been over backwards to help, and maybe they don't, or maybe they don't appreciate it, but I can't do anything about that, and I'm not going to try, and, I know you're not either. I was curious to your thoughts about that, and I figured why talk about it in private when we can just air it for the world and talk about it. And I didn't hear from you on this at all. I just threw it at you. And
yeah, it was not prepared or anything, but that's my honest opinion on it. I don't think that two guys who are fucking 10, 15-year veterans of a carny-ass sport that's built on a lie, are people that you necessarily probably want to look up to in your moral compass. We're not community leaders. We're not your parents. We're not your preachers. unless you're following this new American gospel here. But that's that's a whole different story. But
we don't go to the shows and talk about fucking and doing drugs and fuck the Pope and all that stuff at the shows. And if you ever say, listen to the podcast, you always say adults only and all that stuff. We're not going out there saying this shit to kids. If kids are listening, that's because their parents are letting them listen. Judge them.
Yep. And there's far worse things on the internet than us. So if they just found us, consider yourselves lucky if you're not paying attention to what the fuck they look at.
Absolutely, because I can point you in the direction of girls getting gangbanged by a bunch of prisoners, chicks taking 3 dicks in their pussy at the same time. I know you're thinking, how could that happen? It's preposterous. No, sir, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. So that's what we need to be preaching to people. Watch porn and do fucking cocaine on your couch and get in the wrestling business, kids. That's the example I'm trying to set. And I just want, before we close, I do want to say this. Dan said fuck the Pope, not me. I'm still
satirically, before anybody gets their fucking panties in a twist, because I don't deal with that shit. Fuck the Pope, and then I was tired of hearing about him. I don't want to fuck the Pope. I don't hope that anyone fucks the Pope, especially against his will. But I just was over hearing about him in the news cycle. That's all. He can go on his life, and I'll go on mine.
Maybe we'll get the Pope on the show. Let's try to do that.
Perhaps we can get the Pope on the Midnight Black Mass. Fuck. I don't know what else I have to say after that.
Oh, that's a good show. We're giving quality entertainment to people.
This was a wild fucking ride here. This one I imagine could offend some folks, but hey.
And I didn't even take any Ambien before to go to sleep and get all fucked up. I haven't done that since I realized that was a bad idea.
No more trips to fucking Wonderland for you, eh?
No, sir.
All right. Well, that's going to do it, folks, for another edition of the Midnight Black Mass. We took you on a wild and wacky and crazy ride this week, and we'll be back for another one next week. Don't you dare go anywhere. Check us out on youtube.com/pottyhumor, facebook.com/pottyhumor, on Twitter @DragonsRejects, on Facebook @Andrew Alexander. Thank you for listening, folks. For Andrew, this is the Rev. Keep 1 foot in the gutter, 1 fist in the gold, and 2 horns in the air. We're out.
This has been a production of the Potty Humor Network. Find us online at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe to us weekly and never miss an episode by searching Potty Humor on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and good night.